The day my daughter looked me in the eye and said, "You've done enough, Mom. Let me live my life," something inside me broke. I was standing in the kitchen, the scent of ginger tea still warm in the air, her favorite since she was a little girl. But that morning, her words were cold, colder than the tile floor beneath my feet. I had spent my life building hers, piece by piece. I had no savings left, no dreams of my own, only her. And yet, in that single moment, I realized love, even a mother's, can be mistaken for control when gratitude disappears. That was the day I began to see who my daughter had really become and what I had unknowingly created. My name is Lila. I grew up in a small town where people measured happiness in family dinners and shared gossip, not in wealth or big houses. I married young. My husband, Rafiq, was a kind man but quiet, the sort who believed that providing money was enough love for a family. When our daughter, Maya, was born, I made a promise to myself. She would never feel the smallness I once felt. She would have everything: education, comfort, confidence. When Rafiq passed away suddenly from a stroke, Maya was only 12. The world turned gray for a while. But grief pushed me to work harder. I started cooking for neighbors, cleaning houses, sewing clothes. I told myself every long night, it's all for Maya. Years passed. Maya grew into a smart, beautiful young woman. She spoke with a confidence that both amazed and frightened me. She got into a good university in the city, the first in our family to do so. I sold a small piece of land her father left us to pay her tuition. I didn't tell her it was the last real asset we owned. I wanted her to walk proudly among others, never knowing the cost behind her dreams. Every phone call from her dorm began with, "Mom, I need a little more money." And I always found a way. I told myself that when she graduated, everything would be fine. She would get a good job, take care of herself, maybe even me. That's what good children do. Or so I believed. After graduation, Maya started working at a marketing firm. She visited less often. Our talks became shorter. "I'm busy, Mom," she'd say, as if love could wait for a more convenient time. Still, I waited. Mothers always wait. The real crack began when she met Armin. He was handsome, confident, from a wealthy family. When she first brought him home, I saw how his eyes moved, not toward her, but around our small house. He smiled politely, but I could feel his judgment. After dinner, Maya said softly, "Mom, I think Armin's parents might not like where we live." I smiled to hide the sting. "That's okay, dear. A home isn't about walls. It's about love." But she looked away. That was the first time I saw shame in her eyes. Not for herself, but for me. Months later, she told me they were getting married. I was happy, but she added, "Mom, maybe it's better if the wedding is small. Armin's family wants something elegant. I offer my savings. Take it. Buy what you need. It's your big day." Her voice was hesitant. "Actually, they think it would be better if we handled things ourselves. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Hurt more than any insult could." But I stayed silent. I made her a dress anyway, white and simple. I wasn't even invited to the wedding reception. The day of her wedding, I stood outside the gate of a grand hall, watching through the fence as my daughter danced under glittering lights, a place I had paid for but could not enter. That was the day something changed. After the wedding, Maya moved into her husband's apartment. Weeks went by without a call. When I finally phoned, she sounded irritated. "Mom, I'm busy. I'll visit when I can." I told myself it was normal. Newlyweds needed time. But months passed. When I visited, Armin's face hardened the moment he saw me. "Oh, you didn't tell me your mother was coming," he said to her, not even greeting me. Their apartment was full of luxury. shining tiles, gold-framed pictures, and a refrigerator bigger than my kitchen. Maya made me tea but didn't sit beside me. She looked nervous, as if my presence was a problem she needed to solve. Armin said casually, "Maya told me you still live in that old house? It must be hard managing alone. Have you ever thought of selling it?" I looked at him, then at my daughter. She didn't meet my eyes. I said softly, "That house is my home. It's where your wife grew up." He smiled, but his eyes were cold. "Of course." Just a thought. That night when I left, I walked to the bus stop under a flickering streetlight, holding a small paper bag with leftovers she had given me, as if I were a guest, not a mother. Months later, I found out she and Armin had taken a loan using my house documents, papers I had once handed Maya to keep safe. I went to the bank. The officer looked at me with pity. "Madam, your property is mortgaged under your daughter's name. Didn't you authorize it?" I felt dizzy. My hands trembled. "I didn't," I whispered. I went to their home. Maya looked frightened when she saw me. "Mom, I was going to tell you," she said. "Armin said it was just temporary. We needed it for business." I asked quietly, "Without telling me?" She started crying. "You wouldn't have understood." That sentence, "you wouldn't have understood," carved something deep in my heart. Weeks later, I got a letter from the bank. The loan hadn't been paid. If it continued, I could lose my house. I went to Armin's office. He wasn't there, but I overheard his assistant on the phone. "Yes, Armin transferred the funds to his new account. Maya doesn't know yet." Something cold ran through my veins. That night, I didn't cry. I simply sat by the window, the city lights far away, thinking. My daughter was blind in love, but I wasn't. It was time I stopped being the silent one. The next morning, I went to the legal office where an old friend, Nassima, worked. She helped me review every document. Together, we found the clause. My name was still listed as co-owner. That meant Armin couldn't sell or transfer it without my signature. For the first time in years, I felt the ground under my feet again. I didn't tell Maya. I let her think I was still hurt, powerless. Meanwhile, I quietly made copies of all the papers, met with the bank, and arranged a payment plan using small savings from my sewing work. Then I visited Armin and Maya one evening, carrying a small box of sweets. Armin looked surprised. "I came to give you these," I said, "and to collect some old papers of mine." He didn't realize I already had the originals. He handed me photocopies, pretending to be polite. I smiled. "Thank you, Beta." When I left, I saw relief in Maya's eyes, but also guilt. I wanted her to know kindness still existed, even when love was betrayed. 2 months later, Armin's business collapsed. The bank froze his account. Maya called me, sobbing, "Mom, we might lose everything." I went to her. The house that once felt proud now smelled of panic and regret. Armin was gone. He had left her. I held her hand. "The house is safe," I said quietly. "I took care of it." She looked at me in disbelief. "You knew?" "Yes. I just wanted to give you time to see for yourself." She broke down, her tears falling onto my hands. "I'm sorry, Mom. I was so blind." For a long time, we sat in silence. No anger, just the sound of two hearts finding their way back. Maya moved back home for a while. She started working again, slowly rebuilding her life. We didn't talk much about the past. Some wounds heal quietly when no one keeps reopening them. Sometimes when I watch her cooking tea in the kitchen, the same way I once did for her, I feel a strange peace. I gave my daughter everything. I lost a lot in the process. Yes, but I also gained something deeper, the courage to stand with dignity, even when love hurts. If there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. Love is not about giving until you disappear. It's about giving with open eyes and keeping enough of yourself to stand tall when others walk away. If this emotional real-life story touched your heart, please share, and subscribe for more calm, true family stories.